All right.
So what's going on, man? Give us a quick introduction. Tell us about yourself, where you come from.
Akashic Monk. I'm from Ohio, and then I actually grew up in the country of Ohio, but now I live in near the Cleveland area. So now I'm just chilling, working. I just got a building down here in the Cleveland Industrial Park area, about to do some events, and then network with many people as possible in Cleveland.
Okay, so you got to make sure that you give us a little walkthrough, so we can show the people what you got going on. So can you give us a backstory? Like, how did you get to this point where you at right now?
Well, I started doing rap when I was about 15, and then at 16, I started actually writing music and then rapping songs. I started going to the studio at Top of the World Studios in 2014, and I started my rap career when I was actually going there rather than just rapping in closets and rapping in other places. So then I started going there to do everything because I was never happy with everywhere I recorded at previous studio locations. I was never happy with how the engineer would produce it and then just how it came out. I was never happy with the end product. So in 2014, it all changed when I started going to Top of the World, and then I started making a lot more music. And then I basically did that for a long time, and then basically I was working on music until now, but I took a break on music for a long time because COVID. I thought the world was going to go to shit when COVID happened, so I was like, all right, I don't know how well music's going to work out right now, so why would I work on music during COVID? So then I was focusing on work a lot, but now I'm coming back to the music scene because I have a lot of music and I keep making new songs. I keep doing 4 to 6 songs every month since September, and I just want to keep making music now. So.
Okay, so can you give me a quick insight on what started your music journey?
Probably when I was younger, watching American Idol and then watching 8 Mile, the movie. So when I used to do that, I would always look up to the rappers like Eminem and stuff back in the day. And then I always wanted to just be an artist and a musician. And then I saw independent artists start making it like Russ. And then I always wanted to be independent and come up on my own. I didn't really want to sign with a label. I kind of wanted to find my own little spiral, and I was always into media, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just build my own little films and movies and stuff. I just never got to it because it's a lot harder than it seems when you really start to do it. So that's kind of what I did when I first got into it, and then it kind of dragged into the scene where after I was doing music for so long, a lot of people just didn't support me. They didn't believe in the dream. A lot of people didn't believe in anything oh, how are you going to make music? You haven't made it yet. How are you going to make it later? Oh, you're this age now and you haven't made it. Or, oh, you need 50 million followers nowadays. So a lot of people want to push you down in the music industry. So it's really hard to just stay motivated, especially here in Cleveland.
So on your journey, what's been the most difficult challenge you would say on your journey, and how did you overcome it?
I think the most difficult part was staying consistent because consistency is the hardest part of not giving up. Did I find a new song? Basically, when you start studying and reading, you don't want to just do the same song or the same flow or the same style. So it was really hard for me to be oh, I want to make a new song all the time, or how do I consistently grow, but then only have so much of a vocabulary or so much of a flow or so much of a style. So I was how do I expand that? So I really had to live my life a lot more before I could come back to the music. So now that's why I'm coming back to the music, because I kind of lived a lot of my life now, and now I'm able to express the feelings of what I've lived. Before I couldn't really express anything because I didn't have a lot going on. I think that was a lot of the things, a lot of the childhood was just more abuse, trauma, and struggle. So that's the only thing I used to talk about back then. So I didn't have other things besides that to talk about. So now I have more to talk about. So it just makes me feel a little happier and enthusiastic towards my music career now.
Okay, so I see that you were saying consistency is one of the things that you felt was the hardest to overcome. But you said you putting out 4 to 6 songs, and I know when we was off camera, you were saying you got over 100. Where did that inspiration come from to keep going like that and be consistent like that?
It was a slow growth originally. So I used to just try to work on albums, and I was okay, I'm going to do 10 to 13 songs, and I would try to do that for 6 months to a year. And that was how I used to try to do it. And it was really hard to get those songs. But then once I started having like this last year, I don't know what happened, but something from 2024 till now, I had a spark of inspiration, and I'd made almost double or triple the music I made in my whole life all of a sudden. I don't know if I got better. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I was studying and doing more. Like, I'm reading every single day now. I don't know if that helped. So I think the growth maybe came from the consistency of like working out, fitness, eating correctly, sleeping right, working. Just, I think it was overall balance of being a good person to figure out who I wanted to be. And it's really hard because every day when I go home, I'm like, oh, I got to work on music. Like, after I go home today, I'm going to have to write music or work on music again. And then I'm going to have to make a new song. And I'm like, how do I make a new song? So I'll pull up like a word list. Then I'm going to think about some flows. Then I'm going to like use the word list, go back and forth in my head, and then flow back and forth. And I try to like navigate away. And then I'll think of like 3 to 4 different rhyme schemes to put in it. And then I'll write like 1 or 2 songs. Then I'll write like half of them, and then I'll merge them, and then I mix the rhyme schemes between the 2 songs, so I have multiple rhyme schemes in it. So like maybe one song's one rhyme scheme, one's another, but they're similar of the same pattern, different beat, then intermediate, join them together, and that's how I double up my rhyme schemes. So that's how I kind of get more intellectual wordplay when I do my music as well.
So for the up and coming artists that's also in in business, could you give me some advice that you would pass along to the next up and coming artist to give them an insight on the business of music?
Okay, yeah. So when you want to talk about business with upcoming artists, I would say the main thing, a lot of artists are going to get sucked into working for someone else and only working with that one person. And that one person is going to lock them into something that they don't want to do. They're going to limit their creativity. They're going to limit their flow, or maybe they're going to limit their money because all their money is going to funnel to that one person or that one company. So what I would recommend for an upcoming artist is diversify your network. Make sure that you're not only, like, it sounds bad, but you want to work with multiple people. Be loyal to the community. Don't be loyal to one person. Be loyal to the community. And when you do that, you're going to have a lot more people on your side in the back. You don't have to burn bridges. You could build bridges and build a whole kingdom of like networks of people without having just like one single way. Like, a lot of people want to work with one person or do this or that, and then they're like, well, I don't want to work with another person, and then they don't expand because they're scared to expand with other people. And the networking and even just tagging another artist. So I think if you're an upcoming artist, find just 1 or 2 other artists that maybe you could do songs with, just an EP, drop an EP with them, maybe do a collaboration on some post. So like you post it, but they collaborate and they post, or you're tagged in it. So just both of you are both posting together in a uniform where just both of your friend circles are getting it. And just get in a groove of doing that more often so that eventually you have like 30 friends you're doing that with. And now you're gonna be noticed, and that's gonna be you don't need the label so much when you start doing that. But a lot of people think they need to like get this label or do these certain shows. You don't always have to do a show either. Like, we have online, you can stream, you could do music videos, you could do interviews, you can do shows, you could do pop-up shows. You don't have to sell out a big show. A lot of these times people don't come to shows nowadays. Everyone's busy. It's hard to get people to go anywhere last minute. So you're better off just finding an event that's already popping and be a pop-up artist and perform at that place if you could do that. You're not gonna wanna throw a show and then be like, yeah, let me sell all these tickets. Like, let me find an event that's already popping. Me know one of the DJs or one of the people that's throwing the event. I pop in, I toss that guy $100 or $300. He lets me perform for a little bit, and now I got all their people paying attention to me. That's more powerful than trying to do a show in the city and sell out tickets to a bunch of people, because these are people you already know. They're already fans of you anyways if they bought a ticket. You want to get these people that aren't fans of you. You want to spark up the people that are like, damn, who the fuck was that? So like at the end, the DJ's, yeah, go follow this guy, go do that, here's his Instagram. And then if you do that, it's going to properly boost you up. I think radio interviews are more important than shows. I think getting on the radio is going to help you a lot more. And then just being on YouTube a lot. I think having your YouTube content 100%, if you just do your content and stay consistent, Like with the music video, like anything. It could be a music video, it could be a day-by-day life video. As long as you're staying consistent, those people are gonna really be your fans. But if you don't do it, you're not gonna, people are just gonna fall off because they don't have time. They're gonna watch you in their alone time when they're bored. And if you don't have content when they're bored and you only have a couple videos, they already watched it, they're never coming back because that's not thinking in their mind like, oh, let me go watch this guy's video, he only had 2 videos. If he's like, oh, he has 1,000 videos, I don't know which video to watch, but I'm gonna watch one of his videos. So you almost want overflow of songs and overflow of content because they're not gonna see it all. They're not gonna hear it all. And a lot of people don't understand that. So perception, we perceive it because we see everything, but we don't see what the other people see. All we see is our own perception. But other people are in such a bubble, they're only seeing 1% of what you think they're seeing. You think that they're seeing so much or they're paying attention to you, they're only paying attention to that 1% of you. And like a lot of them aren't even paying that 1% to you. Some of them are paying 0% to you. So it's really hard to break through in the scene at all, especially like any music scene. It doesn't matter what city you're in, what state, what country. It's hard in the life that we live in nowadays with the internet. There's billions of content out there. So
That was good game. That was great game. That was a great method.
like
All right, so now to like kind of segue to like I noticed that you said that you heavily into the business of things.
mm-hmm.
How did you get into the journey of wanting to become like an entrepreneur and taking control of what you have going on now?
So it really started by not wanting to work for someone else. When I was younger, everyone always told me, you're gonna have to get a job. Like when I was rapping, I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm not having a job. Fuck a job. Fuck a job. Like I was like, I'm not being controlled by someone and having a job. So that was the main thing I used to do. And I was like, oh, like I'm just gonna have a dispensary or sell weed and shit. Like that was back what I thought when I was younger. And then as I grew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to have a job. And like, I don't think music's gonna pay me money because I was 18, turning 22, no job. And I was like, well, 22, I had to get a job. So started working at a gas station. And then after a gas station, I worked at this construction company where this guy screwed us over and he didn't pay us. He didn't pay like the whole crew. And then what he did, he's like, you could never do what I do. It's way harder than you think. I was like, I'm gonna start my own company. Like, fuck you, I'm gonna do my own shit. Sorry for my language. And then, so I went and did it. I started my own construction company, and since 2016 till now, I've had my own construction company, and that started my business. That's when I started it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then I always focused on business. And then every time I started calling people, like I was calling for insurance, calling for all these things, and they're like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 24, and they're like, you own a business? And I'm like, yeah. So many people thought it was amazing that I had a business at 24. And I was like, it was easy. All you had to do is start, like in my head, I'm like, all you had to do is a little bit of paperwork. And a lot of people just didn't know how easy it was to start. So then a little bit of paperwork, you start these banks, and then all these people were impressed that I had a company. So then it's easy to get people to work for you because you have a company. People want to work for you because you have a company. And you start seeing the growth way easier, and like the assets grow from having a business. So you start seeing like, okay, business is where I want to focus my life in. And it was always about construction, and I was like, contracts. Well, then I figured out the banks, they deal with contracts. Your car note deals with contracts. Your insurance, everything was a contract. So I said, I need to focus on contracts. Labels and music was contracts. So I said, business is contracts. So what was key was to focus on the contracts. I was like, master business. So I started doing business expansion and financial growth. I started an investment company, and I was like, okay, I want to do strategies with partnerships with other companies. Let me just network with all these companies, take a 1% or 10% or whatever, and just get a commission on selling their service to any company that's missing that to save them money. So anyone that's saving money, they're just going to find me. Now they're saving money, but it's making me money. So I did that in every avenue I could, and I started growing until I had 4 businesses. And then I was like, okay, well, business is what I want to do, and I want to grow my businesses. And then 2 years ago, and about 2 years, 2 months ago, I got a financial advisor. And when I got a financial advisor, he told me he managed over $900 billion in IPOs in America from 1995 to 2008. So before that crisis, he managed all these IPOs, and he's like, if you want to grow finances, You need to do consulting for businesses. You need to do basically what I was saying, like all these marketing partnerships, and then grow up your company and then just sell your company. But like, I don't want to sell my company because I believe in my companies, but like, that's what you do as a businessman. And before I was making my companies just to like live and pay my thing, like working and paying myself, but I wasn't making my company money. So now I make my companies money and not myself money, so I could sell the companies later on. And I didn't know that at first because no one taught me that. They don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you that in college, but I learned it from a great person. So I'm thankful and grateful that I have the knowledge now, and I want to teach other people that though. So that's one of the things. And then I started doing like crypto. I started doing a lot of crypto stocks, and like that's what this Moonbag Boys is right now. It's my one buddy, his little group did all this. So this is their little clothing for the crypto. I'm helping promote all that, and then that's an upcoming crypto that we're going to be launching. And then I'm all about it because it's not about the normal financial system. It's actually fixing the system. So like, say if you ever dropped a cryptocurrency, you could drop a cryptocurrency for your music, and people aren't going to buy it with money. They're going to buy it with the cryptocurrency, but you're going to get paid when they buy that cryptocurrency. So now when they buy the merch or they buy items or your CDs, you're going to always get paid, but it's also your crypto. So like, if you build a video game or you build any platform or you have concerts, they could use those tokens every time, and because basically you got royalties off of all the tokens that they bought. It's basically what they did. So you always want to expand and grow financially. That's kind of what I learned. And then I'm only doing it to fix the world and help the world, but I kind of got lost in the sauce of just learning knowledge. I didn't know what else to do for dopamine and serotonin. Knowledge is kind of what makes me happy at this point. So like, that's what brought me to the music. But now I want to drop music in like 4 different genres and just have a whole bunch of like different albums and songs come out. I really want to focus on rap and hip hop mainly, and then I want to get like that movie done. I want to do the movie. So.
What movie are you talking about exactly? People don't know.
I'm gonna do a parody movie of 8 Mile. It's gonna be called 13 Mile, and it's based in Cleveland. So, what I'm gonna do is make fun of Cleveland and all the gatekeepers in Cleveland, and like basically talk about my story, talk about some of the stories of people, and make a comedy out of Cleveland. Make sure people like it, something funny. Talk about COVID maybe, or 2020, all these little bullshit. Maybe any other little rap movies or something. Make fun of like some other movie. I'll look up whatever rap movies are out. Try to get a couple of things going.
Satire, comedy type thing.
Yep.
Okay. So all right, now all that you just said was just real heavy. So if you can, like, let me ask your opinion on this. Do you feel like it's important as an artist to have their business together, and can you give them ways that they can align themselves in a way that they can have their business together?
I think if you don't have your business together as an artist, you're gonna likely spend all your money and end up like being a washout, and then you're not gonna have money to operate. Like, music is supposed to be a commercial use. So when you have music, this is for a commercial property, so you could sell a product or sell a movie or sell an image. If you can't really sell that image or continue that image, so like there's this theory that I made up. It's called the spotlight image. And eventually, say I put the spotlight on you and you're faking who you are for so long. Eventually, it's gonna dim out and die out. We're gonna see who you are because you can't keep pretending to be someone you're not. It's the spotlight. So basically the spotlight effect is when you end up failing, the truth comes out and then you fail. But if you are always organic, authentic, and like you're living by your morals and you're being yourself from the beginning, the spotlight effect doesn't affect you. It just makes you more, the spotlight's more on you. And now everyone knows who you truly are, and it's gonna grow. So like, you can't lose. Yeah, you're gonna have haters. There's always gonna be people that are envious of you or don't like you. It's because they don't wanna learn or they're uneducated. But once they put their mind to it, they are gonna follow you because you're gonna help them make money. You're gonna help them grow, and they're not gonna grow until they pay attention to those things. So I started learning, like, sometimes I got to shut the fuck up and listen. That's the main thing. So that's why my name's Akashic Monk. It means knowledge from above, and monk means sometimes I just need to shut up and listen. So like, listen from the knowledge in the world and above and around me, whatever knowledge is around me, be quiet and obtain it. Obtain that knowledge. Now, yeah, I'm speaking a lot right now, but I'm trying to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. But I really should be listening to more questions and then answering more of what matters in the questions rather than just speaking.
You're doing an amazing job. You're coming with a lot of gems. It's real heavy right now.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that at all.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so all right. So with that being said, where, like I was saying in the beginning, where are we now and how did you get to this point? And can you explain to me like exactly the building, what's going on, what's the purpose of where we're at right now?
Okay, so now I just obtained this building right now.
And how did you obtain the building too? If you, without
Okay.
since, going too far into it.
So basically, I knew this guy back in the day. He was this dumbass dude. He rented a building next door to this, and then he's like, oh, if you want to look at this building, you can look at this building. So I looked at this building. I always liked it. My one friend like stayed here for a little bit. He basically messed it up, got kicked out of the building. Then 2 years later, I was like, I'm gonna go try to like talk to the owner and see if I can get that building. So I went 2 years later, talked to him, and I was like, are you doing anything with that building? Because I want to make like some money. I have businesses. I have a construction company. I have a smart tech company. I have an entertainment company. I have a food company, and I want to do a food repackaging company. So I told him all my business ideas and what I want to do, and I was like, I need to do this, but I don't have a lot of money, so I don't have a lot of capital. So like, can I kind of like get this going? So he like loaned me the money to start, and then so it's a lease to own. So after right now I don't own it, it's still leased, but eventually I'm trying to own it, and then I had to make enough money so I could do this. So we had to have events, start getting these businesses popping so I could actually start making money to actually fund this building and keep on going to thrive, because basically I can make multi-millions of dollars with this building if I do it right, but it just takes a lot of energy, a lot of people working together, and a lot of time, and a lot of people aren't dedicated to do that. I'm dedicated to do it. It's not easy doing it in the hood of Cleveland, but I believe in it. I think it could be done, and I think what better place than to do it from the place that needs to grow the most, like the place that needs rebuilt. So like, let's rebuild the city from where it needs to grow. So build it up from the projects and turn the project into my project, and hopefully it turns into profit. And that's how I think about it. And in the end, I really don't want to, if I do buy the building in the end, I don't want to sell the building. I want to grow, and I want to build something out and eventually just make enough money and buy more buildings and do more entertainment. But I think where I'm going to go with this building is I'm going to turn this into an entertainment hub for Cleveland. I'm going to do trade shows, flea market events. I'm going to use my smart tech hub to start expanding my crypto and the merchandise and all the different people and networking. And then I'm going to use my construction and start networking with different contractors, getting better pricing for contracts, obtaining properties for lower values, selling them, flipping them, helping businesses basically save money on their properties and businesses, and then growing food for companies, for restaurants and stores, and then food repackaging for stores. And then I think with the expansion of all that, I have a pretty hefty network where I should be able to grow and then launch my video game when I have enough money, and do a couple other little side projects that I want to do eventually at the end game. But I really want to just basically build an empire right now, building a business, and it's really hard because I got to get a lot of people on the same page as me. That's the hardest part, is getting everyone on the same page.
I can get that. That's dope. I got two more questions before we go. One would be, if, say, somebody was either just coming out of jail or they was being born again, some odd thing to where they seeing life through a new lens, and they have nothing. They have a clean slate. If they're trying to be an artist, they have nothing. What would you advise they do, fresh from out of wherever they're coming from, and they have to start all the way over? Nothing on YouTube, nothing on no platforms, starting brand new. What would you tell that person?
I would tell that person the first thing I would do is go on Eventbrite and start going on business or music networking events, and you can network with a bunch of people for free, and they'll have free events where you can just go there and network with these people. Start building your little network of people to start. I think that's always the main thing is your network. But start expressing maybe his life story, and then maybe have one of those people, or if they're good enough at writing or using a computer, if they can just type or something, they just came out of jail, or maybe they just came out of an injury or a coma or whatever it is, maybe write a life story about it, or maybe just an article to start. An article about my life to maybe then just a small video about my life of who I am, so that people can start to know who you are and then start growing it. And then maybe like, if you want to start a business you're interested in after you go to these meetings, do that. If not, maybe work with someone or find a company where you can be an artist for free, offer your music. You're going to have to give away some of your music or your artistry to get people to work with you, because you're not going to have money to pay those people. So you're going to say, I'll give you my content, you guys build the content for me, and we'll split the money. You're going to have to start learning contracting. I think the first thing to learn is contracts. Unfortunately, like, I think knowledge is one of the most critical things in life, and it sucks to say that, because no one wants to hear, like, go to school or do this. Like, you don't have to go to school. I think you should maybe, use YouTube, but don't, like, scroll on YouTube. I think you should search on YouTube. I think you should search on either Google or search on ChatGPT or search on AI, and just view all your sources, not one source, but all your sources, and see what the best route is for yourself. But don't give up. I think you should also, the main thing I think you should do when starting out is build a schedule, stick to the schedule, take action on that schedule, and then you shall have success. But if you don't build that schedule, you're not going to have anything.
Gotta stay consistent.
Yep. That's how I would answer that, I guess.
Okay, yeah. All right. The last question before we go, I know you were just speaking on a little bit in the last question. What do you feel about the lack of unity in the city, and do you feel like that's important? Do you feel like, what's your take on the lack of unity in the city?
I think it's kind of sad that there's a lack of unity in our city, because our city could be one of the greatest places in America, because we have a lot of good people in Cleveland, and a lot of people do not network. And I see so many other cities, like when I lived in Arizona, they work together. When you look in Texas, those rappers and stuff, they work together. New York, they work together. North Carolina, they work together. Florida and Miami, they're working together. All these places, they're working together. Cleveland's not working together like a unity. So I think unity is definitely important. And I think the reason they're not working together is they think that they have too many differences. But the differences doesn't really matter, because they're all just humans. And the only difference that we should have is knowing that we're humans, and there's a government above us right now that's controlling everything that we do. And the only thing that we can do is work together as people to grow, and a lot of people don't want to do that. So if you just work with your unity, I think you won't have to stress about the government so much or the surrounding community, because people will start uniting with you as you start uniting. I think when you get like a pocket of people in Cleveland to start uniting, you start having more people like bubbling up around it. It's almost like a snowball effect in Cleveland, because like people just follow. Everyone just follows in Cleveland. No one's a leader in Cleveland. So like, and then everyone wants to be a leader, but no one wants to they don't understand. You need to lead each other. Everyone's a leader. We're all leaders. We lead each other. So like, that's the best way to unite each other, but people forget unity comes from leading with each other. Like, sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes you're wrong. None of us are always right, and that's what we need to remember, and humans forget that.
I can dig that. I respect that. So, all right, before we go, can you let them know where you at? Drop any shout outs, any websites, anything they should be on the lookout before we go?
You could go to avrsmarttech.com. That's www.avrsmarttech.com, and that's my website. Goes to all my stuff that's coming out, or you could check out, let me pull this up real quick. Or you could check out my book. I don't know if it's filming, but yeah, so I got a book called Monk Moves, Business Expansion and Financial Growth. This book is on Amazon. You can get it. I'm also going to have the audio book here in like a month or two. And then I have another book called Monk Moves, Defense, Safety, and Strategies. This is about mental, safety, physical, and emotional surrounding of your awareness for defense. And then this last book is Order of the Akasha. This is for the video game. It's for the storyline of the video game I'm creating on blockchain. So that's everything. And I'm Akashic Monk from Cleveland, Ohio. Hope you guys all loved the interview. See you guys next time.
You did. We gone.